am the NACDA webinar moderator for today. This week's special guest is Alyssa Garibaldi. She is the National Sales Director for ETS. They've been a longtime supplier for NACDA, and we are pleased to have her here today. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. This is being recorded, so it will be up on the NACDA website within the next couple of days if you'd like to be able to go back and hear this webinar one more time. You are on mute, and that's to keep the background sound from being recorded so that Alyssa can have the full dance floor. There you go. Yeah, Alyssa, you can have a whole quiet dance floor. I will be here the entire time, but quietly in the background, I will put myself on mute. At the end of the webinar, we will have a question and answer time. So at any time while she's doing her presentation, please put questions in the question box. I will read them to her at the end. And then, of course, if you have any tech questions, put those questions in the chat box and I will get back to you directly. So for now, Alyssa, here you go. I'm turning the reins over to you, and I will talk to you again when you are done with your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, NACDA, my NACDA agents. It's been a couple months since I've done a webinar with you guys. I hope you guys all had a wonderful summer, and you guys are ready to get back into busy season as we are as well. We're here at ETS, we're hitting full force. You know, we're hitting the ground running. We're doing tons and tons of training and webinars and doing a lot of trade shows. And I know that you guys are going to Kona, which we won't be there, but we're incredibly jealous. We hope everybody has a Mai Tai for us. We're in Florida. We have some other prior engagements, but we've gone to a lot of the NACDA trade shows, and we will miss you guys very, very dearly. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about ETS as you guys are getting into your busy season. And we're kind of already starting the bookings for 2016. And especially for one of the best times to travel on the majority of our programs, a lot of our busy seasons are the following fall of 2016. So I wanted to get you guys prepared and possibly get some groups and a lot of commission in your pockets for 2016. So let's get started. Of course, we're Educational Travel Services. We go by ETS. Currently, and for the past 4 years, we have been the leader in faith-based travel. And I always kind of want to start with how to really kind of get into this product. And the first thing I always want to ask is, for all of you who are listening, how many of you go to church? Go ahead and either write that down, get a pen and paper. How many of you attend a church, go to any type of spiritual, you know, gathering of any sort? Okay. Now, next question. Oh, I'm sorry. 90% of the people would say yes. You know, we've been asking these to all of the conventions, trade shows, all the webinars we do. 90% of people do say yes in America, that they do go to church, go to some sort of spiritual gathering. Now, do any of you guys know a pastor or a pastor's wife? 75% of people say yes. And even though, you know, I may not know a pastor or my pastor's wife, however, I used to go to a church that my sister attends, and we used to head up the youth program along with the pastor's wife. So while I don't know my pastor's wife, I actually do know another church's pastor's wife, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I did have a meeting with her. So, you know, kind of look into your acquaintances and your family and relatives. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but 75% of people do say yes. Have you ever talked to your pastor about faith-based travel? Only 3% of people say yes. This is always a really sad moment during my presentations when we ask everybody to raise their hand. Who goes to church? Who knows a pastor? Everybody raises their hand. But then when this question comes up, everybody puts their hand down. You guys are missing out on huge opportunities. You're missing out on getting into this niche, this billion-dollar industry of faith-based travel. If you guys aren't asking your pastors or your pastor's wives or some sort of spiritual leader, another travel agent is. Someone else is asking them to do this. So we wanted to kind of teach you guys how to go in and talk to the pastor. So faith-based travel is an untapped, growing niche market. Again, this is a billion-dollar industry, but we're going to go over some statistics. Only a few pastors have actually traveled to the Holy Land. Only a few people have actually done these faith-based cruises, even though it already is a billion-dollar industry. So, who is Educational Travel Services? We were founded by a pastor in 1974. This is very important when you guys are talking with spiritual leaders, pastors, priests, deacons. It's important that they know that you're talking and dealing with a Christian company. We were founded by a Methodist pastor in 1974. This Methodist pastor, he went to Israel, I believe a year after he had, started sending people on to travel, because he had started getting into travel. He was also a pastor. And after he went, he just really felt like his sermons were completely strengthened now that he knew the geographical areas. He was able to kind of tell exactly where Jesus had walked from Galilee over to Jerusalem, or he visited some places that Paul had gone to. So he was able to talk and have a better strength for his sermons and things along those lines. He really felt like the Lord had called him to open up this agency in order to help other pastors and priests and deacons in order to get to the Holy Land for either free or a discounted amount. So that's really important when you're talking with the leads out there, so that they can have a trust in us. We are the most trusted name in faith-based travel. We're the #1 tour providers of Christian travel in Israel. We also are the #1 faith-based cruise company that sells with Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, NCL, AMA Waterways, Costa Cruise Lines. So we are their #1 providers of Christian travel. We've got plaques all around our offices. You guys can see some of the pictures online. So we're the most trusted name in faith-based travel. Also, we bring over 5,000 people a year on some of our faith-based cruises. Can you imagine how many groups that is? Can you imagine how much commission that is? I'm going to talk about our cruises in a little bit, but we bring 5,000 people on cruises every single year from all different churches. And we bring over 10,000 people to the Holy Land. So as you can see, we are the #1 providers of Christian travel in Israel. And also, did you know that only 2% of pastors have actually been to the Holy Land? That's what I was talking to you guys about. So I'm going to get you guys set up on how to actually approach that pastor, how to actually approach that clergyman to go. Because if only 2% have gone, shame on them. They need to have gone, and they need to, get out and preach the word from a realistic stance of actually being in Jerusalem and standing in the Galilee and actually going to these places so that their sermons are strengthened. The Holy Land is completely life-changing for pastors, just like I told this story about the founder of our company. So you're providing them a life-changing experience while also earning really incredible money as well with bringing groups over. So I'm just going to talk really briefly about our Holy Land Classic Tour. A lot of people have a hard time selling the Holy Land because they've probably never been, and so that's where I would also come into place. I'd be more than happy to be on a conference call between you, me, and the lead and go over the itineraries if you're uncomfortable with it. However, I just want to go over a few key points so hopefully you guys can make notes so you know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking with your lead. Day 1, you're going to be traveling from the USA over to Tel Aviv. It is 90% of the flights over to Tel Aviv and coming back are red-eyes. So you'd leave the United States. Everybody would travel together from the domestic departure city, let's just say Tampa, Florida. We'd bring them over to like Philadelphia, Newark, or JFK and have them all fly over as a group together, which is really important. And you're going to get to Israel typically anywhere from 2 to 4 p.m. Because you lose 7 hours when you get over there. You're going to meet with the tour guide, get all your baggage, do a panoramic tour of some of the cities that you're going to be seeing, and then you're going to make your way over into the Galilee area, which is where Jesus' ministry took place. So your very first day, you're going into the Holy Land Tour with a bang. The very first thing you're going to do is a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee. This is an incredibly serene moment in the majority of the people's lives that have been to the Galilee. We're going to take you on a replica of one of the boats that they believed would have been used during Jesus' time. You go out into the middle of the Galilee, you shut off the engines, you play worship music, you have a pastor that's preaching the word of the Bible, and you're listening to the, serene wind, and also you can hear the sermon bouncing off of the mountain walls, just as if it was Jesus doing his own sermon on the Sea of Galilee. So this is such an incredible moment. You're going to go to the Mount of Beatitudes and actually hear the Sermon on the Mount, where the Sermon on the Mount took place. You're going to end your day doing a baptism or a time of remembrance at the place that Jesus was baptized. This is such an incredible day. The next day, you're going to go to Caesarea with the Roman aqueduct. We call this the early life of Jesus, and you're going to go to a couple other places on this day as well. Day 5, we call this the wilderness experience. You're going to go to Jericho and Qumran. Jericho is the oldest city known to have had humanity or a population in. So you're going to the oldest city in the world. This is also the famous place where the walls came tumbling down. And Qumran, this is actually the picture of where it's the cave number 14, where the entire book of Isaiah in the Bible was found. So that's a really cool place to travel to. The next day, we call it the Kings of Israel. On day 6, now you've made your way into Jerusalem. So you're never in the bus for too long. You're always kind of ping-ponging your way down. I wouldn't say you're in the bus for more than an hour or two at a time. So on this day, you're going to go to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed the night before he was taken and crucified. You're going to go to Caiaphas' house, where he was imprisoned, and you're actually going to go down to one of the caves that Jesus had thought to have been. And it's so incredible when you go down there and you can see just how dark it was and how alone Jesus was for 24 hours before he was crucified, and how much time he had to think about what was going to happen the next day. On day 7, you're in the Old City, which is almost everybody's favorite day. The Old City, you guys are going to be parked right outside. You're going to be dropped off at one of the gates, and it's an entire day, an entire walking tour. Isn't that incredible that you don't have to be on the bus for an entire day? Here you're going to visit the Western Wall, where this picture was taken place. Our Catholic tours are going to mark the Stations of the Cross and finish and to go down the Via Dolorosa and then finish at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is one of the 2 places that Jesus was thought to have died and resurrected from. So this day is incredibly powerful, and as you see, I also put in that little note about the Catholics. We do all different denominations. They all have their own different belief systems, so and that's something that you guys that's the information that you guys can get through me. I can tell you all about the different denominations and how to speak to those particular pastors, and they've got different things for the touring, so definitely utilize us. Day 8, this day is typically a leisure day that we have as an optional day. A lot of people like to walk into the Old City, maybe go out and get some lunch. We take this day out because it's not necessarily a day that's talked about in the Bible. Masada was where King Herod, his mountaintop fortress, was, and it wasn't necessarily, even though King Herod was in the Bible, Masada, however, was not. Also, you're going to visit the Dead Sea, where you're going to float in the Dead Sea. I mean, the Dead Sea is incredible. I've been in it twice. I don't know if I'll go again. It has healing powers, but it's incredibly sticky, but just an incredible experience. You have to go into the Dead Sea at once. It's one of the World Heritage Sites, and so a lot of people want to go see this. Also, day 9, so you went in with a bang with On the Sea of Galilee in Jesus' ministry, getting baptized. Now you're going to end with a bang on the week that shook the world. You're first going to go to Yad Vashem, which is one of the Holocaust museums. It's very beautifully done. You can tell that people have put a lot of money, energy, and time into Yad Vashem. People do not necessarily have to go in it. They've got a beautiful gift shop, a place to get some coffee possibly, and a place to 2 different places to eat. So you don't have to go in there, but we definitely want to, spread the word about the Holocaust to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And you're going to end your day at the Garden Tomb, which is my absolute favorite place in the Holy Land. This is one out of the 2nd traditional sites where Jesus had died and resurrected from. And the Garden Tomb, a bunch of British missionaries actually own the Garden Tomb at this time, and so you don't have a guide. You have a local British guide who will come and tell you that even though this may not be the site that Jesus had died and resurrected from, the point is that Jesus did die and he has resurrected. So that is what you're leaving the Holy Land with. So just an incredible tour. I definitely recommend everybody going on it. We've got some FAM opportunities at the very end. But just a really wonderful tour that we've been perfecting for the past 40 years. So on day 10, you're returning home again on a red-eye flight. So typically you're actually going to leave at midnight, get back into the States around 4 a.m. because you're losing those, you're gaining back those 7 hours. And it's great to get in at 4 a.m. because then we have, you know, several hours to get you back into your domestic departure city. So you can guarantee that you will leave never being the same. My entire life was changed when I went to Israel. My sister and I went for the very first time 5 years ago. I definitely went there as a skeptic, you know, as having some skepticism. I didn't really know where my belief system, but my beliefs are completely concrete now. I went there, walked where Jesus walked. I came back a changed person, and I'd love to tell you that story. So I'd love for you guys to call me or get me on the phone with your leads. And again, only 2% of pastors have actually made this life-changing pilgrimage. And who can change that? You guys can change that. You can change their life. You can help these pastors get over to the Holy Land for not only a discounted price, but possibly even for free by them just getting a group to go. So you can help them make these life-changing journeys. So we need to wake up and make some money, travel agents. We need to get out there, get into this billion-dollar niche product industry. So now what I'm going to do for you guys to get into it, I'm going to actually teach you guys how to sell. I'm going to teach you guys the selling tactics. So first, we're going to need to actually get a lead. We're going to need to generate some leads. And how are we going to do that? Do you know a pastor? Do you know someone? Do you go to church? Do you know someone that is involved with church? Do you have any family members that are involved with church? Any friends or references? I typically like to tell the story of my sister because really my sister is the one that was able to get me the meeting with the pastor's wife because she's still involved with that church and she still heads up the youth program over there. Also, we have a communications director here, which is also the director of marketing over at my church. So I asked him for a meeting with the pastor. They actually just took 20 people to the Holy Land in April. So it did work. I asked someone to get me a meeting with the pastor, and it did work. So you don't necessarily have to be, you know, involved with church. You don't have to go every Sunday. You don't even have to go once a year. Just as long as you know people that can get you into a meeting with these pastors. It's not about cold calling in this industry. It's about reaching out and getting meetings, putting it in front of their faces, giving them all the benefits of travel. So. Also, we have a Share the Ministry program. It's located, you can get more information on our website. We will actually offer kind of like a co-op. We offer $500 for someone getting you a meeting with the pastor and producing. They have, you know, the church has to produce in order for us to be able to give the $500 there. But you're able to dangle that bait in front of some of your friends, families, relatives. You know, if you get a group, we will 100% invest in them and give them, you know, $500. So this is a good benefit that we offer. Clergy are incredibly busy. Ask for 15 minutes or ask for a conference call. A lot of travel agents will email me and ask me for travel guides or for sales kits to send out to pastors in their area. They've gotten a list from someone. Those pastors and priests and clergymen, they get asked all the time to travel. They get asked all the time to, you know, for free things and you know, to drive free cars in order for their congregation to see them driving this, and it'll possibly help out one of the dealerships. You know, these pastors are incredibly busy and they get offered a lot of things, so you do need to be more personal with them and ask them for a 15 minutes or a conference call. And again, I would be in on the conference call if you needed me to help aid you in the sale. So also we have our faith-based travel guide, which is what we would send you within the sales kit, because you're going to want to come prepared with the sales kit, which is what we send out if you register to become an agent with us. So the most important thing is we're going to have the faith-based travel guide. This does not include TCs or commission in the travel guide. It's completely pastor-friendly. Also, we have a Why Lead a Group flyer. So these are all the benefits as to why they should lead their congregation. So we help you guys sell this program, you know, with giving you all the tools. Step 2 is the actual meeting. So you're going to want to take that sales kit, and then you're going to want to explain the benefits for the church, the pastor, and the congregation. So what does it do for the pastor? It gives them a renewed passion, it strengthens their sermons, and it develops church leadership within the congregation. It increases volunteerism and tithing. When you go over to the Holy Land and your faith is completely concrete, you believe in the tithe. You believe that you need to tithe 10% of your paycheck. This helps to bring money back into the church in order to help allow the church to get, to attract more people, to put more money into the youth programs and help bring up, great youth. And so tithing and involvement is incredibly important. Now, we're going to want to explain the roles. We want the pastor to know that they do not have to do anything. So, what's the pastor's role? They're just there to spread the excitement. They're just there to say, yes, you do all the rest of the work. They spread the excitement, and then they do prayers and devotions, things that they already do during the trip. They just have to be the spiritual leader. They're not there to collect the payments or the passports. They're there just to spread the excitement and do the prayers and the devotions. Now, what's the agent's role? Obviously, you guys know that your role is to handle all the travel arrangements through us. You're going to collect the payments and the passports. You're going to do the air requests and things like that. And the average commission, as that note on the bottom, the average commission is $15,000. $15,000 on a group of 40 passengers. That's a good paycheck, huh? That's pretty good for one group out of your year. And we want to help you make that happen. So, and now we need to just close the sale. You want to set an itinerary and a date, and then we would come up with the promotional materials for you. So you want to have the travel guide there and talk to them about the Holy Land and when is a good time for you to go. Let's go ahead and get these brochures ready. Go ahead and set that itinerary, set that date. We will do the brochures completely for free. There's no risk. Final payment date's not until 105 days prior to departure. So, and there is no cancellation penalty before then, so there's no risk in them trying to do this. So now we need to build the group. We have all of the fanciest marketing materials you could have ever had. So in order to build that group, we're going to give you personalized brochures. We want a picture of that pastor. We want the name and the church's name, and also a little excerpt from the pastor saying, "Hi, I'm Pastor John Smith from the First Baptist of Atlanta. Please join me and my wife as we travel on this amazing journey over to the Holy Land. I've been there once before, and I can't wait to experience this with you guys, ... the founder of my company always said that 90% of the personalized brochures actually traveled. Whether or not that's true, he had been in business for a long time. He just passed away about 2 years ago, but he used to always say, get those personalized brochures out. We have customized bulletin inserts. We can customize a video. We can even get a little video of your pastor and put together a Holy Land video along with a message from the pastor. How amazing would that be? We can also do landing pages. Paul Hawley, our director of marketing, is incredible at putting together landing pages to help you guys out. So now that we've talked about the Holy Land tour, we've got a lot more ETS programs, but I'm just going to go quickly through them, not to bore you guys, but I want you to know about all the other exciting things that you guys can do with churches, not just the ETS programs. We have Bible Land cruises is the first thing I'm going to talk about. Now, I bet you're questioning, what is a Bible Land cruise? Well, we take a biblically relevant itinerary, and this is going to be, this is going to go to places like Israel and Egypt and Turkey and Greece and the places that John had visited, or the places that Paul has visited. So we're going to take a Christian itinerary. Then we're going to include all the shore excursions with all of our own ground operations. We're going to have all of our own tour guides, all of our own bus drivers and hospitality staff on board in order to tell you guys where exactly to be at, to get to the buses and to get back. So we include all of that for you. And these are shore excursions that while when you go to Rome, you're going to go visit the Colosseum, you're going to visit the ruins, but you're also going to go to some of the Christian sites as well. So you're going to see all the most important places that you want to see. Here's our hospitality staff on board. These people are going to help you get to those buses. They're going to help you with dining. They're going to help answer your questions. So we've got ETS hospitality staff on these cruises ready to help you guys, so that even if the travel agent doesn't travel, we've got the staff in order to help your group get around just fine. We also place a world-class speaker and entertainer. I'm not sure if anybody knows who this is, but this is the world-renowned gospel singer, Babby Mason. She travels with us every year on our women's retreat cruises. If you listen to Christian music, chances are you have heard one of Babby Mason's songs. And so this is just one of the popular women that we do have that comes and either does a lecture or does some sort of entertainment. So now the Christian group has something to do on board instead of going out to drink maybe at the bars or go to the casinos. We've got some things for them to do that will involve a Christian atmosphere. Also, we offer 15% commission on the total package. Sure, there's a couple of non-commissionables, but when you're talking about a $3,000 to $4,000 cruise with the non-commissionables being the taxes and the tips, maybe a couple $100, you're making $400 to $600 on each one of these passengers. So if you come to us, we offer 15% commission and 1 for 10 TCs to offer that pastor or spiritual leader. So you're making, a really great amount of money on our faith-based cruises. And I know you guys are good at selling cruises, so why not sell a faith-based cruise? Here is one of the ones that we're offering for 2016. So as you can see, it's low price. This one is starting off at $32.98 for an inside cabin. It's from September 20th to 30th. We have one of our lecturers on board to talk about the different sites and the Apostle Paul, Craig Grammer. He's been with us a long time. As you can see on the bottom, we talk about all the included shore excursions, where they're going to go to, just so that they know. We've got the prices on the bottom. And as you can see, it says for more information or to register, contact. These are single-page flyers that you can get right off of our website, and you guys can customize this with your information and either save it, download it, print it, send it. You guys can do whatever you want to this in order to get those leads. Now, we also offer faith-based cruises, and what's the difference between a faith-based cruise and a Bible land cruise? Well, a Bible land, you're going to go visit the lands of the Bible, but a faith-based cruise can go to the Caribbean, it can go to Alaska, it can be missions, it can be, marriage retreats. So we've got the women's and marriage retreats, missions, and fellowship cruises. So let's give you an example. Here is one of our women's retreats. And this is the one that I was talking about with Babby Mason. We wanted to give you guys a sample of what it would look like. So here's one of the women's retreats starting off at $419. We've got 2 different lecturers, and we also have, a guest entertainer, Babby Mason. So we've got lots for your group to do. So you guys are going to have a couple days at sea, go to Cozumel and Key West, but then we're going to have plenty for the group to do in order to have a Christian atmosphere on board the ship. And I'm sure that you guys are either a part of a women's group or you guys know someone that's in a women's group. I personally lead a Bible study on Thursday nights, from my church. And this would be a great thing that I could offer them because we're great friends and we would probably love to travel together. So why not, risk-free get some brochures out there for your particular women's group or one within the church. Here's another one. We offer Alma Waterways. We've got an incredible relationship with them. We're their #1 faith-based providers. And just a little secret, those prices include your flight, and they are a lot lower than what you can probably get online on any one of the websites. So that's just a little secret between you and I. But this is one of our Catholic Tulip Time cruises. Sister Joan Chittister is incredibly popular in the Catholic denomination, has many followers. I'm sure that your group would absolutely love to travel with them while going to visit all the tulips of Amsterdam, where 90% of the world's flowers are from. So, you guys can make faith-based travel whatever you want. So we also offer Christian Europe. Just going to quickly run through this. We go to Ireland, Italy, England, Greece, Turkey, Germany, France. We go to Guatemala, Lourdes and Fatima. We do anything, a lot of our Christian denominational specific groups go to places like Catholic Italy. A lot of Catholics like to go over there and do the papal audience with the Pope. In Ireland, the Reformation tour was there with Martin Luther for all the Lutherans. England, you can go visit in the footsteps of John Wesley, which is for the Methodist denomination. So this may all sound like gibberish to you, but we would love to help you through this and get you guys some groups in the denominational specific way. So now, what are the travel agent benefits? You guys get 15% commission on the entire group, and just like you guys saw before, the average commission on our Holy Land tours is $15,000 on a group of 40 or more. And this group of 40, once you get that pastor to announce it from the pulpit on Sunday, you can bet your bottom dollar that the rest of the congregation will follow. You will get a group to go. We can also customize groups. We can do groups of 40. We can do groups of 10. We also have standard programs out there that even ones and twosies can go on as well. So we can help you with anything. But 15% commission on an entire group, I definitely think that sounds like cha-ching. 1 for 10 TCs is already included in all of our programs. So every 10 full paying passengers, you can offer that pastor, to go for free. Of course, there's a little bit that they have to pay. We could also build that in. If they get 20 people, them and their spouse can go. So, we already have this completely built in. This is a benefit that you guys can, that goes to you guys. It's already built into the pricing. And again, $15,000 is the average commission on a group of 40, and we want to help you get there. Also, I just went over a little bit of the Holy Land, but we have 2 FAM opportunities. We have a December 1st through the 8th. We have a lot of people going already. We've got a great group. And it's $17.48 from New York City. The reason why I have an asterisk there is that we have pricing from different cities. We've got some pricing from Boston, Los Angeles, Washington, Dulles, but this is our pricing from New York City. It's all inclusive. We'd love for you guys to come and go on one of these trips. We also have one in January, from January 11th through the 18th. One of us will be escorting you guys, whether it's the president of our company, me, the director of sales, possibly our director of marketing. Someone's going to be there and help you guys learn how to sell faith-based travel and learn some of our programs. So I want all of you guys to register to become an ETS agent. If you haven't already, go to www.etsagents.com. Register to become an agent. We'll send you out a free faith-based sales kit. You'll get all the latest promotions on our FAM trips. We don't send out too many emails, but we don't bombard you, but we do send out FAM trip opportunities and just kind of remind you of some of the special programs that we have out there. So we'd love to get you guys involved in what we've got going on. So, and again, this week for your assignment, you want to ask the pastor if they've ever been to the Holy Land. That's everybody's, write that down. That's everybody's assignment for this week. You guys email me directly at ehovit@travelwithus.com, and you let me know that you've reached out to the pastor, and I'll help you every step of the way. So that was it. We really look forward to working with you guys. I guess we will open it up for any questions, Lorene.
That sounds great. I was trying to work in the background and get your email. Do you have your email posted?
I don't. It is ehovit, H-O-V as in victory, E-T as in Thomas, at travelwithus.com, all spelled out.
Okay, so I am trying to type that out and post it to the list. But, twitchy fingers, so if it's a typo, I apologize to everybody. You can always email me directly and go, what did you say? Well, you did a great job, and for those of you in the audience who aren't aware of this because you're not on the call before we hit the record button, Alyssa, this is Alyssa's first week back from maternity leave, and I want everybody to give her a little applause in the background because I think that you did a great job. You would never know.
Oh, that's good. You know what? It's funny. People always ask, are you going to go back to work? When I really do love my job. We get to bring people to the Holy Land. My life was completely changed in the Holy Land. I didn't go into my story, but it kind of keeps me thriving. And I'm always going to be my daughter's mother, but I also get to bring people to the Holy Land. Hopefully, she'll be able to go one day. But yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this society needs more people who love being parents because it really makes the next generation feel loved and wanted. And like you said, your visit to the homeland, it touched your heart, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And because it touched your heart, you want to be able to spread the message, and which is kind of the message that you're trying to give to the agents about, feel the love.
Yep, exactly. Mhm.
That would be my synopsis of this whole thing. I could be wrong, but you know. We did have a couple of questions
Okay.
that I think you can help with. You mentioned about groups to 40, but I think somebody saw on there in your screenshot said groups up to 30. So do you have a max amount of people in your group?
I I couldn't really see that. I apologize if it said 30. Our max, well, depending on where you're going to in Israel, they do have 60-seater buses, but we typically only use our 52-seater buses, which we won't go above 49 at the very max. We really don't even like to go over 45. And when you're talking about going to England or Ireland or something like that, sometimes the buses only hold 45 passengers where we don't like to go above 40. So it's really going to depend. But the Holy Land, we don't like to go above 45. We talk about 40 passengers because 15% commission is the average commission. That's not an exaggerated number. So we do, and a lot of the times the successful pastors really will have groups of 40 that travel. So that's why we just kind of throw out that number.
Excellent. That makes sense. That makes sense. But, you know, it's all about clarification. Somebody asks a question, there you go. Here you go, Alyssa. I toss it over to you. One of the agents asked when they're registering, what kind of agent number do you need? They're specifically asking if you accept the true code.
We do. We accept any type of ARC number that allows you to sell travel.
I got a couple of yays. You did a wonderful job. I always have to pass that on too because I think fair's fair. Hey, we all hear enough cranky things. We need to hear the good things.
Yeah, I like that.
Question, what would you recommend would be a good time of year to go? Is there a good time?
Yes, great question. The absolute best times to travel based on weather and pricing is going to be February and March or October and November. That's because the flights are in shoulder season, so you've got a medium type price for the air, and then it's great walking weather. Israel is very much like northern Floridian weather. So when you're talking about October, November, the highs are going to be in the 60s, sometimes even the 70s. However, it is hit or miss. So like in December and January, the average temperature is 50, but last year it did snow. And so it is really hit and miss. If you want to go at the absolute least expensive time, it's going to be December and January. It has very little tourism at that time, so you'd be able to get in and out of sight, at the blink of an eye, which is great. The streets are typically, there's not a lot of people traveling, so the buses can get in and out really easily. And it's low season for the flight, so you've got a lot of different combinations. However, it can be incredibly cold. So that's my 5-minute answer on that.
There you go. And that's also, I can totally see your crystal ball because it's you as the national sales manager to know what the weather will be in a year from now. So just remember to put that on your list.
Normally I do know. I'm having a blurry vision right now.
And then of course because they said, but Alyssa said it's going to be beautiful and not crowded.
No, I will not say it. I will not go and write anything down. I will only verbally say it.
I'll delete this part out of the recording also. So that was all the questions that we have. Was there anything else you wanted to cover? Maybe one more time about where people should go to sign up, get more information, in any closing remarks?
Yeah, well, we definitely look forward to working with each one of you. We have a lot of incredibly successful NACTA agents. I know we can't name drop. I really wish we could because you guys would all know them. But we've got a lot of incredibly successful groups. We are, definitely a tour operator that's going to help you guys through the entire process when it comes down to contacting, the pastor, get us in on a conference call. We're going to help with all the different promotional materials. We're going to help out with the billing statements, and we're just incredibly hands-on, so we don't let you guys just you know, figure it out. We're here to help you guys, because if you guys are successful, so are we. So we want your business. Definitely encourage you to sign up to become a travel agent with us at www.etsagents.com, because we're going to send you out a free faith-based sales kit. So it's really important to kind of get that in your hands. So when you have someone that you want to talk to, we already have that sales kit prepared for you to talk with the lead. So, and that's really all I have. I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys. A drink of Mai Tai and Kona for me, and I look forward to my next webinar and meeting all of you guys.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And yes, I'm sorry you're not able to come. And for those of you who are like, what is she talking about? The National NACTA Convention is going to be November 8th through 12th on the lovely side of the Big Island. It's known as Kona. So for those of you who are on the Adventure Post Fam, by the way, I just found out that we are also going to be for the Post Fam. It's not going to be for the regular part of the conference because there's going to be too many of us. But the Post Fam will be swimming with the manta rays. Oof!
Wow.
That is so fun. I have done it before. I'm so glad that they're going to do it again for us. So sign up now. They still have some openings. So there you go. There's my 5-second plug for the Post Fam. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Alyssa. Welcome back. You see, you just did this great. Now you get, hopefully you go home and you be a mom for a while again.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.